Mahesh with us. Dr. Mahesh is the director of MIT College, MIT Academy of Engineering. He has completed his PhD in electronics engineering. He is a great mentor and a teacher. So it's nice to have a meeting with you, sir. Please briefly introduce about yourself.
Basically, I am Dr. Mahesh Kauda. I completed my undergraduate program in the year 1987, and I had an industrial experience of 15 years. Then I switched over to academics in the year 2000. Then I did my post-graduation from CEDT Aurangabad, and I did my PhD from IIT Dhanbad. As a professional experience, I had an opportunity to represent India and mentor the students representing India at the WorldSkill International in 2013, 2015 and 2017. And I'm very happy to share that our students under my guidance got the Medal of Excellence in the skill of movement robotics. And I'm a very keen person and associated with academics. And I'm a very keen to progress myself in academics.
Okay, sir, you have received a lot of awards. I have seen it like Lifetime Achievement Award and some Medallion of Excellence. So actually those are really great. And it's my pleasure to have meeting with you, sir. So we'll start with the questions now.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what is the latest program that you are offering in your institute which will help students outperform and stand apart from the crowd?
Basically, our institution is highly adaptive to the changes in the. Basically, we are one of the first institutions to be compliant for ISO 9001:2015 quality system, and we are affiliated to SPPU and A grade and NBA graded programs are going on. And as per the need of the hour, we got the academic autonomy in the year 2016-17. So we are using this academic autonomy to the fullest extent possible in order to place the students or in order to enhance the student skill levels to progress in their education studies. Having said that particular point, we have got a very updated curriculum, and we follow basically 4 important parameters. First is the design of the curriculum, then it is a delivery of the curriculum, then it is the assessment of the curriculum, and then finally it's about the feedback, and we redesign that particular curriculum progressively in a loop. So in this way, we are able to now offer the courses in honors courses in the niche areas. For example, we are able to offer BTech honors courses in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, then entrepreneurship, product design. So we have made the students flexible. Even we have got we are already adapted to the NEP policy, National Education Policy 2020, and this is how we are able to give the students best possible combination of the choice-based curriculum to the students. Even the students in the electronics or the mechanical branch the courses and do the field of his choice into computer engineering. This way we have made the system very flexible to the students. We too have got a post-graduation in computer, we have got a post-graduation in mechanical. This way we are trying to adapt ourselves to the latest requirement of the industry and making the students more employable and skillful.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you are keeping up with the change. The latest technology is coming in, and actually that is really necessary for students to grow and make their career. So that is actually really great. So my next question is, what are the factors that make this program the best for students to offer?
Yeah, you have in fact asked me a very good question. First of all, when we design the curriculum, we are not designing the curriculum in isolation. We take all the stakeholders, especially the industry, the potential amplifier into consideration. So we have got the very updated curriculum, which are changing every year. The curriculum is being changed with respect to the requirements of the industry. Point number one. Point number two was we are having a flexible choice-based curriculum for the students to choose from their courses of interest and passion. Sometimes the students come to the engineering by chance or by choice. But however, we'd like to encourage the students to a possible extent to have their degree with the courses of their choice, so that as long as they are actively involved in the, they will definitely enjoy. And having said this, engineering is all by doing. Engineering cannot be taught; it has to be done. So we use the concept of learning the engineering by doing. Especially in this process, we use activate-based learning, experimental-based learning, and project-based learning. So here, the students are bound to fail when they are trying to do the experiment-based learning, but they will come to know 100 ways the things do not work. I feel this particular concept of learning from our failures is one of the good opportunities given to the students to become more confident. The way we learn cycling and become more confident after falling down, I feel similarly in the academics, the students learn more by committing the mistakes. That's how we encourage. We do not discourage the students who fail in the curriculum. And secondly, we adopted the digital technology the fullest extent possible. You know, any given instant at time, the students are average students, intelligent students, and also we are having intelligent students. We need to encourage both. So this way, we are using the technology to ensure that the students learn their own pace, and also we encourage the intelligent students to go beyond what a regular teacher expects. So we are giving an environment or ecosystem that is conducive to handle all sorts of the students, and especially the weaker students. Rather than directly going to the complex levels of the Bloom taxonomy, we take them step by step. We engage them more and give more freedom to the intelligent students who have got potential to learn on their own. So we encourage all the type of the students, and we use the technology extensively to make best use of for this scenario.
Okay, sir. You have answered in great detail, and it would be helpful for students to encourage also. And you have given such a nice example of cycling. So that's actually good, and it will definitely help students to encourage and go ahead. So the next question is, what will you say the best practices in the course you are offering?
Can you repeat the question, sir, please? I didn't get it correctly.
What will you say the best practices in the course you are offering?
Okay. See, as I told you, sir, in any class, there are weak students, there are intelligent students. And if you go to the real world problem, it's not you just having an academic knowledge not suffice. You should have an overall knowledge. So the approach of our pedagogy in the curriculum is very interesting. That is, we teach the student the communication skills at the individual level, also at the team level, so that they become more confident, and that is what is actually required. In most of the cases, students know the answer, but they're unable to tell the answers because of their lack of vocabulary. And also nowadays, most of the problems are multidisciplinary. That's how they not only need the knowledge of one branch of engineering, they need to have the knowledge of the other branches of engineering. This way, we encourage the multidisciplinary projects. Even there are students who are working in a team to complete the project. We also encourage social projects. We encourage the industry-based consultancy projects. We encourage the socially environmental-based projects. This way, this project-based learning is helping the students to a lot extent. But over and above, as we say that most of 90% of the students go to the industry, we have got a very extensive linkage with the industry, and that's how we have got a mandatory credit-based industry linkages in their curriculum. For example, at the end of the third year, the students will go for a 2-month compulsory internship, and it has to be done because it is credit-based. The students need to go thoroughly to the environment of the industry. And having said this, in the final year, in the 8th semester, we have got the opportunity for the students to go for 6-month internship. They need not be in the college, but they can directly go to the industry. They can work in the industry. However, during that particular period, college will be closely engaged with them to ensure that they are comfortable as far as the academic is concerned. This is encourage the students to be industry ready and to address the real world problems or the scenarios.
Okay, sir. These are the necessary things which you told, that communication, internship, gaining experience, and going to industries before starting your career. And it will help students to outperform when they go and start their career. Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is, what are some of the valuable insights of the program that you are offering at your institute?
Okay. Basically, when I said the industrial requirements are fast changing. Previously, the requirement of the industry were different, but you can see that most of the courses that are required are digitally enabled courses. So accordingly, as per the industry requirements, we try to operate the skill-based curriculum into the system. That is, civil engineers will learn all the skill professional courses that are required by the civil engineering. Computer students will learn all the skill related courses that are required by the students. Also, the mechanical ENTC, the students are going to learn the skill-based courses, and also the more importantly, we had something called as the minor tracks. Suppose I am a ENTC engineer, I'm doing an ENTC program, but I'm more interested towards some digital skills like cyber security, data science. Then, being a student of ENTC, I'll be able to take up those particular courses as my additional credits, or in the open elective system, where the students will be able to earn extra credits. In case they earn extra credits, then they will get a BTech honors degree from the SPPU. But in case they are not earning the extra and overall credits, they will get a certificate of minor specialization from the students. This way, our curriculum is very flexible to the students to meet the requirements.
Thank you, sir. You have answered in great detail. The next question is, how does the program ensure that students are being prepared for the future?
Yes. Sir, nowadays, the most important thing needed the future is not only the academics, it is the overall development, the emotional quotient. So we have got, there is something called counseling. The counseling it will be available to the students round the clock. It is confidential. They'll be able to contact the counselors to their time. That is how we maintain their emotional quotient, which is very important. Now, coming to the other aspect, it is also important that the students need to have a good health and good sportsmen. So we give the opportunity for the students to participate in extracurricular activities related to other than the academics. We also encourage the students to participate in the co-curricular activities and encourage the students to participate in the national level competitions. Like if at all you talk about technical skills, our students are represented at the national level, international level, like World Skills International, Hackathon, Baha, Go-Kart, Aero Modeling, E-Yantra, etc. And also if at all you're talking about the students' participation in the sports, we have got a very good sports ground and the students are able to participate in cricket, football, chess, basketball, badminton, kabaddi. Initially they participate at the university level or the intercollegiate level. Once they get selected, they get an opportunity to even represent the universities across the state and other things. And over and above this, 24 club activities which are actively give the students to really excel and show off their skills in the area of their interest. Okay, along with academics, a good habit, I'm a dancing skills, I can do dancing. I got a photographer, I can do photography. Over and above this, I'm very happy to tell you that our students have represented the national level competitions in all these particular club activities, and really they can, because 24 clubs, definitely it will address almost all the skills that the students may expect that the college to give them an opportunity or a platform to excel. This is how we are encouraging to excel in whatever they do. They should enjoy every moment of their college curriculum.
Okay, so apart from academic, you are also focusing on all-round development of students, and this is what students are waiting for. They actually want to have some skills and go ahead with that, and you are actually doing that. You are focusing on that also. It is great.
Thank you.
Next question is, how did you train yourself to deliver this program to the students?
Yeah, sir, you have got me $1 million question. See, one thing, sir, it is one of the actually we should not blame it on the system, but actually we ourselves should take the initiative into this. We, as a teacher, directly coming out for engineering, and we were put into teaching without knowing how to teach the students. So what we did in our college is that we first of all taught each and every teacher how to teach. There is a 6-month certification, international certification course, which tells the students how to measure the intelligence level, how to teach something. So what are the different types of levels of learning to students that happen, how to take them from lower level of the knowledge to the higher level of the knowledge, what tools you have to use, what should be the assessment methods to evaluate this. This way, by empowering the to address the skill-based learning, we did a very important aspect of telling the faculty how to teach to the students and how to assess the students. That is how they become competent to assess the students, to ensure that the students are industry ready.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is, what were the challenges that you faced while inculcating this program in your curriculum?
See, basically the challenges are many, sir. Whenever we need to introduce something new, always there is a resistance to the change in the system. So what is the best plan is we make our curriculum changes 1 year in advance. So when we do the curriculum changes in 1 year in advance, we get to train the faculty to ensure that all the resources that are required for the change are available in the college. And also we try to reduce the experimentation being done on the students, so that before we implement something, we are well aware what is the change, what is the change, and in the process of this change, we also involve the students. For example, when we design the curriculum, industry is there, students are there, alumni are there. So we do not try to do any change for the sake of just doing the change. Because we involve the people involved, they better understand why there is a need to change. Because they know, I feel there is less resistance for the students or the faculty to accept that particular change. That's how we are ensuring that the transition of the change is smooth and continuous.
Okay, so beforehand you are analyzing the challenges coming and you are finding the solutions. Okay, sir. Thank you for that. And the next question is, what are the types of projects that the students are working on through this program?
Okay, sir. As I told you, project is a part of the curriculum of all the courses. The students get involved into project right from the first year, and then toward the second, as they progress from first year to second year to third year to final year, there is a continuous complex project get enhanced. So we start right from as far as the project is concerned. First of all, we try to teach the students one of the new courses that is there, called as the design thinking process. How the design thinking has to come. The mind has to accept that empathy. That empathy is one of the important parts. So the courses like design thinking is taught in the first year. The course like experimental tools and techniques, because even though I am a computer engineering, I may be required to use a civil instrument. I should have the knowledge of all the multidisciplinary project, the equipments, the instruments they are using. So we try to give them this particular course at the first year itself, that is called as experimental tools and techniques, wherein the students have something called the open it lab. For example, they open it the refrigerator, they open the washing machine, they disassemble the scooter, and then they try to disassemble the TV, and they try to understand what exactly is inside. Okay, they may not understand in the beginning, but when they do it at the first year, this gives them an interest, an insight into what are the scope, how they have to do it. And then when they go to second year, there we try to give the problem statements are given by the faculty also. The problem statements are given by the industry also. Also, the students are encouraged to bring their own problem statements, but the problem statement they bring for the project, they should understand address the real world problem, or it should be a hackathon problem. When I say hackathon, it is one of the thrust area where the government of India is interested in solving the problems. All the ministries have uploaded their problem statement of the thrust areas. So we try to give them the problem statement from those thrust areas. So the students get involved into the problems of the studying process. And one other thing that happens is, as the students are also, there is a handshaking mode, because you know that project cannot be done in 1 year at a time. It needs a lot of time. So if there are complex projects, there is a handing over. That is, the third year students get involved into the final year project, so that handover of the projects is also done in a very systematic way, so that the instead of reinventing the wheel every year, we aim to build a car on one or the other day. This way, there is a lot of peer learning that is happening during the project learning. For example, especially to encourage this peer learning, projects are demonstrated and the projects are kept open to all the students. That is, all the students see what their colleagues have done. There is a lot to learn from others. So this type of project-based learning through peer learning plays a very important role in ensuring that the project's quality is increasing rather than keeping the same thing. So this way, there is a lot of scope for project-based learning in our institute.
Okay, so basically you are focusing more on practical knowledge and practical skills.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, that is the requirement of today's generation. And thanks, it will help students to clear their doubts. And sir, my last question is, what are the benefits and career options after pursuing this course?
Okay. You again put me a very important question. Basically, if you see in the recent curriculum, actually, it's most of the students want to get employed. They want to serve in the industry. Also, there are certain group of students who want to become entrepreneurship. I'm very happy to tell that there is an ecosystem developed in our college which encourages the students to be entrepreneurs. And I'm very happy to share that our college is ranked among the top 50 private colleges across India in the Atal rankings. So we try to provide ecosystem that is needed by the students. And as I told you, most of the openings are available in the IT-based industry or the allied industry. So what we try to do is, we try to give the ICT-based knowledges to almost all the students. So you can see that and now, as I told you, most of the companies, there is a multidisciplinary project are going on. Even if it is an IT company, they just do not need the knowledge of the IT. They want the students of the mechanical engineering also. They also want the knowledge of ENTC. For example, IoT is one of the important things that is happening, Internet of Things. So this way, we have got certain courses which are open to all the people. So even the students in electronics or ENTC or chemical or mechanical, if he fishes, if he has got that passion, even he can take up the job in the computer or the software industry with the requisite knowledge that are required by that particular company. In addition to this, I told you there is a BTech honors course. When I say honor course, usually the regular engineering students earn 160 credits. But to earn this BTech honors degree, they need to earn 18 credits more. That is, they need to earn at least 176 to 180 credits. With that, they get a BTech honors degree. So even though I am a ENTC Bachelor in Electronics and Telecommunication, I can get a BTech honors in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. I can get a BTech degree in Data Science. I can get a BTech degree in Product Design. This way, we make the students to choose what their interest is. Finally, they need to have a passion in what they do. I don't say that there is no scope, but if at all you get the knowledge of what you have, where you are interested, you can put more energy, you can become more passionate. This way, and also because we have got the post-graduation degrees in our college, the students do get the opportunity to do their master degree. And also, we train the students, we gave them the platform for them to appear for the GATE examination and other competitive examination, so that they even can go to the higher studies in other international universities of international repute. This way, we have got a wide range where the students can become compatible at the end of the core engineering curriculum.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you have answered all the questions in great detail, and it will definitely help students to clear them out. And thank you, sir.